Hello everybody. So this week we are doing further diatonic leaps. So we are now in chapter 12 of Rodgers and Ottman. We're doing the first two sections this week. Section 1 it basically has all kinds of large leaps besides the tritone on the 7th, and then section 2 adds the tritone on the 7th. So we get into kind of all of that today. When we say leaps, we mean bigger than thirds typically, so fourths, fifths, sixths, and then finally then we do major sevenths and tritones. Okay, so tritones within a dominant seventh chord, and major sevenths usually going to T, do to T to do, and so on. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do a little bit of warm up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. Okay, major scale, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay. Same scale, let's do harmonic minor. 1, 2, ready, go. Pardon me, little pedal trickery there. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do this key. Ready? Major. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, great. So I've got 4 examples for us to sing through today. I picked some of the harder ones from the chapter, but we're going to go through them pretty systematically. They're not going to be necessarily true sight singings, okay? So let's go ahead and go through this. Okay, so this first one, this one starts pretty simple. It's 12.1, the first one of the chapter. So we just ended in the key that it's in, E flat major. Right? So notice we've got a pretty big leap at one point. Notice how in the second measure of the second staff, we've got a leap from do down to do. We've got a big old octave leap there. Everything else is mostly stepwise, but remember now that we've got subdivisions, we'll see those a lot more now. We'll see a lot more 16th notes, especially in 2/4. So this one's not too bad. We just sang the key for it. So go ahead and take about, I don't know, let's say 15 seconds. Not a ton of time. Just go ahead and skim through this. It's not very long. And then we'll go ahead and go through, this is the 8th note tempo. Okay? So take 15 seconds. Okay, so let's do this 2 times. First time, let's do it without me. Okay, I'll give you your first pitch, which is do, of course. Okay, it's written down there. You can sing it in whatever octave you'd like. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and smack the 8th notes. Okay, to make sure that we're staying in time. Okay, so these are the 8th notes. Okay, so here we go. Go ahead and do it without me. Ready? 1 and 2 and. Okay, so hopefully the 16th notes weren't too fast. Okay, the 16th notes in this passage when they happen are scalar, so not too bad to deal with. Okay, and so on. We have the big octave leap. So there's top do. Okay, sing bottom do. Now sing top do. Now sing bottom do again. Okay, and then in the end we've got a really common bass passage. Right, we've got our implied 2, 5, 1. Right? So that means that you leap up a 4th and then down a 5th, right? So let's go ahead and sing do. Now sing re. Now sing sol. Now sing do. Yeah, so I'd imagine that that's probably the hardest thing in that one. Okay, so let's go at the same tempo with this is our 8th note pulse. This time I'll go ahead and play along with you. Okay, so correct any mistakes from last time or just give another perfect performance. Ready? 1 and 2 and. Okay, good, good. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Great. So that's about as easy as this chapter gets. The leaps will get a little bit crazier than an octave, of course, but we'll go slower for the next couple. They get kind of complicated. So let's stick with Mozart and let's stay in E flat for this next one. So let's take a look at this. Let's talk through this one, because this one looks really long, but it actually isn't. Okay, it looks longer than it actually is. So look at the first four measures. Okay, pretty straightforward. We're in E flat. We start on Sol. We go to La. We arpeggiate a chord, and then we do Mi, Re, Do. Okay, pretty standard stuff. Then we've got some more arpeggiating. See that second staff? Right? Just more arpeggiation. Okay. Then we've got a bunch of eighth notes, but look at the eighth note measures. Okay. Notice how the eighth note measures are not only just arpeggios and some scales thrown in. They're mostly arpeggios, but also they're repetitive. So and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay. So pretty repetitive. Okay. And then notice where we have that forte right in the middle. It's the beginning passage again. It comes back exactly as it was in the beginning. Okay, so that four measures that we sang before is coming back. Notice we've got more arpeggios. Just Do down to Sol. We've got a La in there to trip things up a little bit. But then the end, we've just got Sol, La, Sol, Ti, Do. Right? So despite how long this one looks, this one's actually not too bad. Okay, so when taking a look at a longer sight note example, the first thing you want to do is kind of scan for the things that are similar within the general form of the piece. Okay, so we've got kind of an A, B, A, C kind of rough phrase outline here. So, still in E flat. We're in treble clef now, though. Okay, so there's your first pitch. Okay. Let's have this be our quarter note. Okay. So, how we're going to do this is I'm going to play the first four measures with you. We're going to count the rest together, and I'll snap along with those, okay? And then I want you to go ahead and continue on without me, and then I'll rejoin you at the forte, okay? So basically I'll play that same four measure chunk at the beginning both times it happens, okay? And then I'll rejoin you for the end. So keep going even if I drop out, okay? Here we go. Here's your first pitch. This is Sol, sing Sol. Okay, ready? 4 and we're in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, here comes this eighth notes. 1. Keep going. Okay, so hopefully we all ended together, okay? We'll go back through and do that all with the keyboard again, but hopefully the repetition in this one really helped things get better as they went along, okay? So a couple tricky things. We do have a 4 chord. Notice in that first 4 measures we have a 4 chord. Right? If we were to say this was a harmonic dictation, it's kind of like we're starting on either 1 or 5, right? And then we have this kind of Mi, Re, Do. It could be a conventional 6/4, for instance. Okay? Other than that, the outline of the 4 chord, everything else is pretty much 1 and 5. So the passage, the second staff from the end. Right? We've got a little bit of a La there. Right? And that's just kind of a neighbor note. Okay, but we get this kind of compound melody feel. So let's go ahead and sing Do. Now sing Sol below. Now sing Do again. Now sing La. Now sing Do. Yeah. So that also happens, something similar happens in the final measure of the 3rd staff. Okay, so notice we've got the same type of thing. But instead of going to La, we go to T in the top voice, so to speak, lower. So sing Do. Now sing Sol. Now sing T. Okay, now sing Sol. And now Do. Right? That kind of effect. So let's go through this one again. Let's go a little bit faster, not too much faster, because I don't want the 8th notes to get ahead of us. Let's go a little bit faster, and this time I'm going to play it all through with the keyboard. Okay? So from the top, okay? Starts on Sol. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Three, 4, 1. Three. Two, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, so hopefully we roll together for that one. We're not going to do another one quite as long as that one today. But yeah, this one's great because it gets lots and lots of tonic and dominant play. You've got 8th notes that are both arpeggiated and scalar mixed together. You've also got some pretty big leaps. We've got octave leaps, we've got 5th leaps, we've got all kinds of leaps. So this is a great one. This is kind of a great one if you ever want to have a warm-up, and it's also in our difficult key. We always seem to have a hard time with E flat. So great one to practice, okay? Now, this next one's going to look scarier than it is, okay? We're going to talk about it a lot first, okay? But it's going to look scary for a couple reasons that we'll see in a moment. Here we go. So, look at this one, okay? Yikes. Now, tenor clef. We're old pros with tenor clef. We got tenor clef. Notice we've got some accidentals here, which might imply that we're in a minor key of some kind. And also, our key signature is, or pardon me, our time signature is 2-8, right? So that's why this looks kind of scary, because we've got subdivisions here, right? So remember that our divisions are going to be the first level separation, and then our subdivisions are going to be the second level separation. So notice here, if we're in 2-8, the 8th note gets the beat. Thus the 16th note splits the beat, and the 32nd note splits the beat further. So that's why this one looks far more complicated than it is. But if we go at this tempo as our 16th note, it's not that bad, okay? In addition, we've got some double sharps here. Let's look at our key signature. So we've got 5 sharps. So that would imply either B major, but B major doesn't have G sharps, G double sharps in it. So if it's not B major, the relative minor of B major is G sharp. G sharp minor. Oh, and I just realized I've been calling them G double sharps. Clef confusion. They're F double sharps, right? F double sharps, because tenor clef, if you recall, C4 is right in the middle of those two bumps on the clef. So it would be the second line from the top. So that's what's tricky about this one. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to give you a full minute for this one. Okay, take a full minute for this one. Scan it over. Okay, it's in G sharp minor. Okay, notice that we've got an F double sharp, which would be T instead of te, but look for places where we might have te or lay. Okay, and in addition, try to figure out what these big intervals are. Notice that we've got a couple places where we've got a jump. Now, the previous two that we did were intervals of an octave, interval of a fifth, interval of a sixth. This one, I'm going to give you a hint, might have tritones or sevenths of some kind within them. Okay, minor sevenths within a dominant chord, major seventh if we're doing do up to T, or tritones, right? If we're doing T up to fa. Okay, so take a look, take a minute. Here's where we'll be at. Okay, take a full minute to look this over. Okay, we're halfway through your time. I'll give you your... Okay, so let's go through this one together at the keyboard twice. Okay, this one's going to be a little tricky for us. And hopefully I don't get any clef confusion along the way. Okay? And let's do this a couple measures at a time. Okay, so let's do this in 2 measure chunks. We'll do 2 measures at a time on this first time through, and then the second time through we'll put it all together. Okay? So we start on do, right, which is down here. If this is middle C, okay, we start down there. So let's all sing G sharp harmonic minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out. Ready? This is going to be our 16th note pulse. So this is the divisions. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go ahead and stop right there. So, between measure 1 and 2, what happens? Okay, so we start on do, we go to T, we go to sol. Pretty straightforward. What do we leap to? Okay, it's not an octave. You can visually see that we leap a seventh. Right? We leap from sol up to fa, and then we do scalar steps down. And we end where we started, okay? So let's try those first 2 measures again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we leap again. Okay, this time instead of going, pardon me, it's not that unsurprising to leap. We leap from sol to do. Okay, this next passage is pretty straightforward. It's all just scale steps. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So notice we've got that dotted rhythm, the dotted 16th 32nd rhythm, which is 1E and a, right? 1E and a, 2, okay? And so on. So we ended here. We ended on B. Where do we start in measure 5? Okay? What interval do we leap up to? Okay? So it isn't do, right? Because if it were do, it would be on the first ledger line above the staff. So we actually leap up to te. Okay? This is kind of a weird leap. So let's go ahead and sing me, or probably may. Sing may. Now sing te. Right? So now we've got some te and some lay interplay. Right? Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Let's go ahead and try just measure 5 and 6. We'll go ahead and stop. Okay, 5 and 6. So here we go. So we're up here. We're up on te, sing te. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? We're going to end at do. Okay? And so on. Okay? So I think the biggest trick in this one is getting that 7th leap and this weird me to te. Right? Me to te leap. Okay? Let's do the last 2 measures. The last 2 measures are kind of a piece of cake. Okay? Go ahead and try it out. We're starting on do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So, hopefully the tenor clef's not confusing you too much, but that's just sol, do, me, re, do. Okay? Let's go ahead and try the whole thing. Let's try it at that tempo with the keyboard. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the weird one. Yeah, so hopefully you were with me. This one is probably the hardest one I can throw at you at this stage, okay? It's a hard key, it's a hard time signature, it's an uncommon clef for most of you, but hopefully you got there. This is a great one to come back and revisit. It's just kind of a kind of keeping your tenor clef and G sharp minor abilities sharp. So let's do one more for today. One more. This one I'm not going to help you out as much in. Notice this one's got a prevalence of dotted rhythms. It's also in a weird minor key. So our key signature would suggest F sharp major, right? However, look at the very end, and in the middle there, we've got C double sharps, right? That doesn't belong to F sharp major, so the relative minor of F sharp major is D sharp minor. Yeah, kind of nasty. What is nice though is we do start on do, okay? And it kind of proceeds as normal from there. So let's go ahead and sing D sharp harmonic minor. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so how I want to do this one is I'm going to give you 30 seconds to prepare, okay? Do a quick scan for repetitions, do a quick scan for big intervals and figure out what those intervals are, and then also make sure to note where your tonic and dominant solfege are, okay? So go ahead and take 30 seconds, because after that, we're going to go ahead and go through, and I'm going to give you just the first 2 measures, and then that's it. I'm going to leave you for dead all the way until the end, okay? So this is going to be on you as much as a true sight singing as we can do in this medium, okay? So take 30 seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out, okay? I'm going to play the first 2 measures with you, and then you're on your own, okay? This is the 8th note pulse. The 8th note pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Okay, so I would imagine that the penultimate measure, the second to last measure, is probably a tricky one, okay, for a variety of reasons. It's got a pretty unusual leap down from the previous measure. It also is actually quite chromatic to sing, okay? So let's go ahead and look at that second to last measure here. So we've ended sol, do in the third to last measure. We leap all the way down to re. So we go from do to re, right? Which we've seen before, right? But we're going down. So that's what's kind of weird about it. It forms a minor seventh, right? And then instead of going from re to sol to do, we go from do to re, and then look, we go to lay sol, right? Right? And then we go from sol down to T, which that's, we've had that one. So this is just the second to last measure. Ready? Here's re. Re. Let's do lay. Now let's do sol. Now let's do T. And then finally do. Okay? Oh, pardon me, didn't mean to cut that off there. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Let's do it one more time through. Same tempo, this time with the keyboard helping you out. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, ready. Oh, pardon me. There's a pickup. Of course. I'm going to give you 3 and we're in. 1, 2, 3. 2, rest. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so hopefully that was successful on your part. If not, go back through and watch this again or try practicing it on your own time. You should have access in some capacity, even if that's on your phone or your instrument, to some sort of keyboard if you want to check your pitch on this. So I'd recommend going ahead and practicing any of these 4. I give you some hard ones because I think we can handle it. I give you some tricky ones this week, so hopefully that was good for you. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to do next time. So next time is melodic dictation, okay, with these larger intervals. So make sure that we're really comfortable singing these because we're going to be dictating them next time, okay? Your participation assignment won't be assigned today. It'll be assigned next time on Wednesday. And I'm giving you a heads up on that because make sure that you have Megamit installed. I addressed this in the intro video, and I believe I've mentioned it at some point in the past, but we'll be using it this week. I have posted a tutorial video for Megamit, so once you've gotten it installed, you can kind of watch the video to kind of see how things goes. It's only 10 minutes, and it's already on your playlist. It should be posted already. Hint, hint, the participation assignment this week will be Megamit based. So if there's any issues with getting Megamit, contact me immediately, okay? Because I'll have to figure out something else for participation for you this week, okay? So in any case, that's it for this time. We'll continue with Chapter 12 next week, but we're going to push on forward through melodic dictation on Wednesday. So with that, I will leave you to it, and I'll see all of you next time.